Hey guys, welcome to video 2. It'll be super quick. I'm just going to show you the different examples that will look exactly like your homework, are very similar to your homework. So I'm going to skip around a few just to show you the different examples, and it won't take so much of your time. So for A, it says, or the directions say, always read the directions first because you don't know what they're asking you. Express each fraction as an equivalent decimal. So I need to take the fractions that they're giving us and multiply it by something so I can show it as an equivalent decimal. Okay, so we know what equivalent fractions look like from the last video, and now we're showing equivalent decimals. So for A, they give us 1/4 times 25/25. And if we do that, then we're going to get 1 times 25 is 25, and then 4 times 25, you could either do it on the side by doing long just multiplication, or most of you will know, I'm sure, that 4 times 25 is 100. Okay, because if you have 4 quarters, which is 25 cents, 4 of them equal $1. All right. So now that I have 25 hundredths, I'm going to write that as a fraction. So now, I'll do that in a different color. So now that I'm sorry, I said write it as a fraction. I meant write it as an equivalent decimal. So now I have 25 hundredths, and I know what that's going to look like because that's what we've been doing for other lessons. 0.25. Because we're going to read it from this way. Ooh, that is not a good color. It doesn't really show up. I want you to be able to see it. Let's just do it in black. So 0.25, because we're going to read it from this, from the 5, our last number, that's in the hundredths place. So 25 hundredths, okay? So let's look at the next one. I'm going to skip B because it looks exactly the same. And then I'm going to show you, again, they'll just give you, this time they're just giving you a fraction, and they're saying, what are you going to multiply it by to be able to show it an equivalent fraction? So to be able to show 1/5 into a decimal, I'm going to multiply it by something that will put it into a decimal form. So this bottom number needs to be either, in the tenths place, so 10, hundredths, or thousandths, or that's as far as we've gone yet, but so we want to make this into a fraction form. So 5 times something is, what's the closest we can do is 10, right? So we want to get it into the tenths place. So let's do 1. We know that 5 times 2 is 10. So then we also have to do the same thing, what we do at the bottom, we have to do the top. So 1 times 2 is 2. And then we can show this now in decimal form. That's going to be equal to 0.2, or 2 tenths. Okay? And then the next one, I'm going to do 2 examples of where they just give you a fraction. Okay? So this time we have to multiply by something. So I have 1/20th, and I need to get it to either 10, 100, or 1,000 to get it into decimal form. So 20, if I can't get 20 to 10 because I would have to divide, but we're multiplying. But I can get 20 to 100, right? So I'm going to do 1/20th times 5/5, because 20 times 5 is going to equal 100. And then 1 times 5 is equal to 5. And then to show 1/100ths, we're going to do 0.05, because there's only 5 and it's in the hundredths place. Okay? So 5 hundredths. And then same thing up here. So we have the denominator of 20. So we also need to multiply it by 5 so we can get it to hundredths. So I'm going to multiply it by 5, the top and the bottom. because it has to be an equivalent, right? And above, or and the problems we were doing above, we had to multiply it by 1 whole. So 27 times 5, you could do the multiplication, I know is 135. And then 20 times 5 is 100. That's the reason why we multiplied by 5. And then I have to show 135 hundredths. And we can show that as, we read from the right to the left, so it's in the hundredths place. So 1 and 35 hundredths, okay? So your homework will look very similar. And let me know if you have any questions. This should be pretty easy for you guys. I just want you to, if you're having trouble understanding why they're equivalent, I'm sure there'll be questions like that. Just shoot me a message.